It's time for To Your Health. Joining me today is Dr. Lorraine Maida, a functional and integrative medicine physician who practices anti-aging medicine, executive health, hormone replacement therapy, and weight management. She's the author of Vibrance for Life, How to Live Younger and Healthier. Dr. Maida is here today to discuss the top tests for thyroid health. Welcome, Dr. Maida. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Joan.
Dr. Maida, I talk with so many women who are concerned about their weight or their energy, their hair, memory, you name it, and they think it may be related to thyroid hormone. Is that correct? And what does the thyroid hormone actually do?
It could be correct. Thyroid hormone is critical to life, and it acts on absolutely every cell of the body. It regulates weight and metabolism, your temperature, your hair, your skin, your nail health, bowel movements, energy. It aids in memory and also fertility. And when the thyroid gland is healthy and not under the autoimmune attack, there's an optimal amount of thyroid hormone, and it can convert into an active form and get into the cells so people can feel great. Because when you first make thyroid hormone in the thyroid gland, it's not that active. It just is there for reserve, and when your cells need it, it converts it into an active form. So all of these factors have to be in order to stay slim, sharp, energetic, warm but not hot, and have silky soft skin and hair, as well as strong nails and regular bowel movements. And there are a variety of tests that will determine the overall thyroid health, whether or not you have adequate hormone and a good response to that hormone. But you need all of that. You need to know every step in the process, not just one signal.
When a person goes to the doctor usually screens for thyroid tests, and they do something called a TSH. Over the years, you and I have touched upon this topic, and my listeners and readers comment that they think there should be more that's done. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, absolutely. There should be more tests done to determine the overall health of your thyroid and how it's affecting your body and your metabolism. TSH is called thyroid stimulating hormone. It comes from your pituitary gland, which lies behind the bridge of your nose, and this gland will release this stimulating hormone to tell your thyroid, make some thyroid hormone. So if there's enough thyroid hormone, it won't have to stimulate it so much, so the levels will be in the quote-unquote normal range. However, if there's too much thyroid hormone, that thyroid hormone will shut off the pituitary gland from making TSH, and TSH will be very, very low. TSH only rises in an attempt to stimulate the thyroid to make more hormone. While it serves as a screening tool, it's really not enough because it's really not telling you how much thyroid hormone you actually have. Is it converting into the active form, and is it actually working? And is your thyroid under attack? Or are there other issues that will affect your thyroid going forward?
Doctor, if the thyroid is so important, why do you believe they don't test the way you suggest they should?
Well, this is what's taught, and everybody's in a cost-saving mode right now. And we're taught that if TSH is normal, you don't have to go further. But we know a little bit more now, and it does take a lot more time, and it is a little bit more costly, but not really very, very costly. I think that everybody should be doing these tests, but it's not the standard of care. And this is why functional medicine is a systems approach, and this is why functional medicine exists. When people don't get satisfaction elsewhere, they want to look deeper because they know something's not right, but they just don't know what to do about it. So I do more tests because the top tests are free T3, free T4, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies, and iodine. Just think about it, Joan. Autoimmune Hashimoto's thyroiditis is the most common cause of hypothyroidism in the U.S., but nobody measures the antibodies. And they don't because they don't really know what to do about it because they think you can't do anything about it. But I know we talked about this in a different segment. You can manage autoimmune disorders, and I have people who've had antibodies to their thyroid and never developed hypothyroidism, meaning low thyroid. Their thyroid gland wasn't destroyed, their immune system's in check. The other thing is that iodine is essential to make thyroid hormone. And that's the most common cause of hypo or low thyroid in the world. Yet nobody checks iodine. too much or too little iodine is no good. I have so many people coming in on iodine supplements and they don't even know what their levels are. I had a woman come in with an iodine level of 10,000. I mean, that's crazy. So be careful when you just hear about these supplements that just say, oh, everybody should be on iodine or everybody should be on selenium. All of these are fine, but there's a Goldilocks, not too much, not too little. Everything has to be in balance.
If you actually think about what you're saying, I understand wanting to save money on the front end, but in the long run, doing those tests would be so much more cost effective than having to manage the diseases that result from not knowing what's going on in the body.
Absolutely. And you have to realize that our current system almost doesn't allow the doctors to do that anymore. I remember the days where I could order whatever test I wanted, and now some things are being questioned because it's just not the standard of care. Sometimes I don't understand it myself. But to me, this all makes so much sense because when people come in and they're suffering and we find out the root cause and we go deeper and we look deeper, we avoid a lot of problems. They start feeling good again and they're healthier, they're productive, it helps their relationships, it just helps their overall life.
So Lorraine, to do that then, what are some of the other tests that should be ordered that most doctors don't measure?
Well, you have to understand that other things, if you measure any hormone, thyroid hormone or sex hormones or any hormone, hormones have to be carried through the bloodstream on a protein. So thyroid has to be carried through on thyroid binding globulin. Now, you're going to measure the thyroid hormone that's bound to that protein, and only some of it is free to get into the cell. Just think of workers in a train. If they're inside the train, they're not free to go to work. If these hormones are bound to the binding globulin, they're not free to get in the cell and do their job. So it makes sense to measure the free hormone because that's actually what's working. You want to, because the typical tests measure both bound and free. So T4 is your actual thyroid hormone made from the gland. That tells you is your gland working. That is not that active, then you measure the T4, and when your cells need oomph and they need some thyroid hormone, they're going to take off an iodine, it becomes T3, and that's the active hormone. That's your gas pedal. That's what gives you the get up and go. And you want to measure the free T3, not the stuff bound to protein, because that's not going to be active. So free T3 and free T4 are very important. And when your body's under stress, it does not want to be stimulated. It needs to rest. So think of T3, free T3, as the gas pedal. If you're suffering from a nutritional deficiency, stress, trauma, surgery, infections, or toxins, your body is going to make what they call reverse T3. That's like putting a block underneath the gas pedal. So it's going to allow your body to get the rest that it needs. And reverse T3 being high is something that's a signal there's some distress in your body. And then as a detective, you go on and you try to look for that. So these are the tests that I do, and I want to know how the thyroid is working in every single step of that process.
Lorraine, thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to learn more about Dr. Maida and her work, you can visit her website, howtoliveyounger.com. And as always, to hear more from Dr. Maida, you can visit our website, cyacyl.com/Lorraine. We'll be right back.